crush a walnut with my vagina.
Nightbitch, directed by Marielle Heller, is a black comedy horror film starring Amy Adams as a stay-at-home mum who, struggling with her husband's absence and the responsibilities of looking after a 1-year-old boy on her own, starts to turn into a dog. Suffice it to say, from a premise like that, watching Nightbitch was an extremely confusing, bizarre experience. Like 95% of screenplays that make it into production these days, the film is based on an award-winning novel. In this case, the debut novel by author Rachel Yoder. Though I haven't had the pleasure of reading it myself, an extremely reliable and usually generous source, who happens to be the person I watched the film with, described it as mediocre at best. The writing in this film, however, is apparently much, much worse.
Structure, you know. I read an article once that said that structure was the key to mental health. Happiness is a choice. Happiness is a choice.
I could talk at length about the executional failure of each stage of the film's plot, from the inciting incident to the eventual climax, desperately hoping its audience will overlook its complete lack of any kind of dramatic hook and be bowled over by its shallow analogy to the struggle of motherhood. But somehow the fundamental and unforgivable structural failures can't compare to the absurd behaviour of this film's characters.
You're so dirty.
And the woman that I used to be, this talented, plucky young woman with big ideas, buried in kale. Do you ever feel like the big secret is that we are gods? Like, we fucking create life. I bet men are terrified of us. I mean, look at you. You are this miraculous goddess growing bones as we speak.
I am pretty powerful.
I honestly haven't heard dialogue this pretentious and tone-deaf since Joker 2, though at least in that case there seemed to be an admittedly small hint of self-awareness. Unlike the vast majority of successful film review channels on YouTube, I don't think the issue lies in this film's feminist message. Rather, it feels like the first draft of a first-year university essay, trying to make bold or prescient statements without doing any real research or having any awareness of how much further the conversation has advanced beyond her shallow declarations. There have been countless artistic and academic examples of work that explores this conversation with significantly greater depth or accuracy, but this wouldn't really matter if the film was at least able to entertain or dramatically satisfy its audience for more than the ironic reasons. As for the technical aspects, everything's mostly fine, but nothing stands out as particularly impressive. Even with a competent script that could contribute something meaningful to the conversation, or just evoke its intended emotions, Nightbitch would still come across as stylistically bland, losing all the charm of watching an A-list actress degrade herself by pretending to be a dog for 90 minutes, with no legitimate reason for doing so. What the fuck was Amy Adams smoking when she agreed to this? I understand the sentiments of the people who connect with the underlying message, or even enjoy the book, given that it was such a monumental success, and maybe a really talented visionary director could have elevated the thematic material to speak to some genuine truths and actually create a product with any semblance of artistic depth. I wouldn't go as far as to say that she, or any other actors in the film, give a terrible performance, but they have absolutely nothing to work with here, and it will be hard not to judge their ability to gauge the quality of any production that they join in the future. To follow the example of film journalists, who seem to spend more time working on puns than actually coming up with anything to say in their reviews, I've come up with a carefully crafted pun of my own. Nightbitch is dog shit. 2 out of 10.